Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Sargent and thank you for coming to learn with me today. I really miss you and I can't wait to see you when we get back at school. Today we're going to do one of my favorite things. Yep, you probably guessed it. We're going to read a story. I miss reading with you guys. This story is super special, but before I tell you about it, I want to make sure that for today's lesson you're starting off by finding a comfortable place. It's going to be important that you're listening with your eyes, ears, and hearts, so you can think deeply as you're reading and be able to access all of that knowledge that you already know in your schemas. Okay, so let's stay focused, stay on task, because we're what? An awesome lit class. So today's story is what we call a folktale. Folktale, boys and girls, is a story that is retold and passed down through many generations of people. This story is special because it's written by the same author of the book we read around Christmas time called The Legend of the Poinsettia. We loved that book. This book today is also a folktale, and it's called The Legend of the Indian Paintbrush. It's a beautiful story. Pay close attention to the illustrations. I love them. It is retold and illustrated by Tommy de Paola. What other book can you think about that we've read this year that was illustrated and written by the same person? I can think of one, The Nightmare of Christmas by Tim Burton. We liked that book, didn't we, guys? Well, this book is just as special. So I hope you enjoy. And again, listen carefully because at the end of the story, there will be a quiz for you to complete on Google Classroom. Enjoy. Many years ago, when the people traveled the plains and lived in a circle of teepees, there was a boy who was smaller than the rest of the children in the tribe. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't keep up with the other boys, who were always riding, running, shooting their bows, and wrestling to prove their strength. Sometimes his mother and father worried for him. But the boy who was called Little Gopher was not without a gift of his own. From an early age, he made toy warriors from the scraps of leather and pieces of wood, and he loved to decorate smooth stones with the red juices from berries he found in the hills. The wise shaman of the tribe understood that Little Gopher had a gift that was special. Do not struggle, Little Gopher. Your path will not be the same as the others. They will grow up to be warriors. Your place among the people will be remembered for a different reason. And in a few years, when Little Gopher was older, he went out to the hills alone to think about becoming a man. For this was the custom of the tribe, and it was there that the dream vision came to him. The sky filled with clouds, and out of them came young Indian maiden and an old grandfather. She carried a rolled up animal skin, and he carried a brush made of fine animal hairs and pots of paint. You see it right there? The grandfather spoke. My son, these are the tools by which you shall become great among your people. You will paint pictures of the deeds of the warriors and the visions of the shaman, and the people shall see them and remember them forever. So it sounds like he has a really important job. The maiden unrolled a pure white buckskin and placed it on the ground. That's like animal skin, guys. Find a buckskin as white as this, she told him. Keep it, and one day you will paint a picture that is as pure as the colors in the evening sky. So she's comparing the picture to the colors in the sky. Oh my goodness, boys and girls, look how beautiful that is. And as she finished speaking, the clouds cleared, and a sunset of great beauty filled the sky. Little Gopher looked at the white buckskin, and on it he saw colors as bright and beautiful as those made by the setting sun. So these are the colors of some of the sunsets. Then the sun slowly sank behind the hills. The sky grew dark, and the dream vision was over. Little Gopher returned to the circle of the people. So his dream stopped. The next day, he began to make soft brushes from the hairs of different animals and stiff brushes from the hair of the horses' tails. He gathered berries and flowers and rocks of different colors and crushed them to make his paints. He collected the skin of animals, which the warriors brought home from their hunts. He stretched the skins on wooden frames and pulled them until they were tight. Look what he's doing with this animal skin right there. Oh my goodness. And he began to paint pictures of great hunts. So he's recording history, boys and girls. Of great deeds, of great dream visions, so that people would always remember. If somebody doesn't write down history, how will people know many, many years from then? But even as he painted, Little Gopher sometimes longed to put aside his paintbrushes and ride out with the warriors, but always he remembered his dream vision and he did not go with them. So why didn't he go with them, you think? Because he remembered that he had another job to do. He was expected to do something else, so he didn't do what he wanted to do. He did what he knew what he was supposed to do. Many months ago, he had found his picture of white buckskin, but it remained empty because he could not find the colors of the sunset. He used the brightest flowers and the reddest berries and the deepest purples from the rocks, and still his paintings never satisfied him. They looked dull and dark. So they weren't bright enough for him. He wanted something even better. He began to go to the top of the hill each evening and look at the colors that filled the sky to try to understand how to make them. So he's trying to solve his problem. He longed to share the beauty of his dream vision with the people. But he never gave up trying. And every morning when he awoke, he took out his brushes and his pots and paints and created the stories of the people with the tools he had. So boys and girls, even though it was challenging, he didn't give up. And he's using what he has. One night as he lay awake, he heard a voice calling to him. Because you have been faithful to the people and true to your gift, you shall find the colors you are seeking. Tomorrow, take the white buckskin and go to the place where you watch the sun in the evening. There on the ground, you will find whatever you need. So maybe there's hope. Oh my goodness, look at those colors. The next evening, as the sun began to go down, Little Gopher put aside his brushes and went to the top of the hill as the colors of the sunset spread across the sky. And there on the ground all around him were brushes filled with paint, each one a color of the sunset. Little Gopher began to paint quickly and surely, using one brush and then another. Look at those brushes, guys. So do you think good things happened because he was patient? I do. And as the colors in the sky began to fade, Little Gopher gazed at the white buckskin and he was happy. He had found the colors of the sunset. He carried his painting down to the circle of the people, leaving the brushes on the hillside. So now he's going to go show his beautiful work with others. And the next day, when the people awoke, The hill was ablaze with color, for the brushes had taken root in the earth and multiplied into plants of brilliant reds, oranges, and yellows. And every spring from that time, the hills and the meadows burst into bloom. Does this, guys, remind you of the legend of the poinsettia? Whenever the weeds turned into poinsettias, beautiful, beautiful poinsettias. And every spring, the people danced and sang the praises of the little gopher who had painted for the people. And the people no longer called him the little gopher, but he who brought the sunset to the earth. So because he was patient, he was able to share all of these wonderful things with all of these people. So what do you think the author's trying to tell you in this story, boys and girls? Do you think that maybe the author's trying to explain to you that you have to work hard and not give up when it's challenging? I do. Thank you guys for listening. Enjoy and take the quiz on Google Classroom.